I feel like we should have more moon technology or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I think shit is like flying up from the ocean to the sky.
It's like surfing in some oil spillage. Inhaled like a whole bag of goose feathers.
I worry primarily about whether there are nightclubs in heaven.
Another episode that ends in jam sesh.
Really? That'd be cool.
That happened once.
Are we already recording?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, I see it. No, it's cool if you want to keep this clip in. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always just kind of start by just meandering into it and then figuring out when it's a good time to start.
Yeah, for sure. I was curious to understand what topics you guys cover, so I'm gonna find out.
Just whatever.
I have that water bottle.
Oh yeah, Target purple Nalgene.
Yeah, it's $10. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I've been through 2 of these. I lost one on tour, I believe.
I'm pretty sure I lost mine just existing. So
yeah, the one I had before this, this little lanyard thing snapped off too, so like the lid could go loose.
Apparently, you can order those online. I had no idea. Michaela told me about it.
The Nalgene or just this part?
The bands.
Oh wow! So you can replace it if it cracks. That's interesting.
That's so funny. Okay.
It's brought to you by La Croix or La Croix, however you say it.
Pamplemousse. Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse La Croix.
La Croix.
I'm pretty sure that's the Prime Minister of France.
La Croix?
Or President. Did they have a Prime Minister or a President?
I think it's a president.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Macron.
Yeah, it's Pamplemousse La Croix.
La Croix? Anyway.
Just drinking some of that Pamplemousse La Croix, yeah.
That's so funny. I'm taking a French class right now, and it's like French 100A for smart people.
Which letters do you pronounce and which ones do you not? I am so confused. I just make
so
weird
if there
noises.
are 2 E's, you only pronounce the first E. So like enchanté. There's actually, if you're a woman, only if you're a woman, enchanté has 2 E's at the end. But if you're a man, enchanté has 1 E at the end.
But they're both pronounced the same.
Yes.
So could a really fluent French speaker tell if I was putting that extra E on there, if I was saying them both the same way? She's like, what the fuck did you say to me?
You know, they would tell you you're wrong anyway because you're an American. So.
Yeah, true. I cannot do anything right. What if I put like a maple leaf flag sticker on my bag when I travel abroad? I always assume I'll do that when I go to Europe.
Quebec.
Just so nobody bothers me.
I don't speak French.
No, you don't have to be from the French part of Canada. You just can't be American.
Yeah, but like, so basically, you know how we learn Spanish here? The Canadians apparently learn French as their like main language.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you live in Michigan or Wisconsin or Vermont, it makes more sense to learn French than Spanish.
Yeah.
Like here, it's more helpful to know Spanish.
Yeah.
The states closer to Canada makes more sense.
Well, I feel like you should need to learn Spanish. Like you should have at least like 4 years of Spanish here. It should be a core curriculum because like you run into people all the time who don't know any English, and it's like that's not their fault. We live 30 minutes from the border.
Yeah, especially here. San Diego, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of high schools give you the option to take French or Mandarin, which you're just going to forget after high school.
Yeah.
Like you'll remember like 30 words in Spanish if you take Spanish at least.
Yeah, well, I feel like with Mandarin especially, it's just like you're learning an entire new alphabet.
Yeah, it's so much harder.
Yeah.
Unless you already know that you're going to be an obnoxious backpacker right after you graduate high school, you should not take one of those choices.
I don't know. French seems pretty cool though, especially if you like want to live in Canada because you're smart and you realize
or if your plan is just to move to
yourself.
France, you know, then that makes sense.
I just mean like in San Diego in a public school, and you're going to choose to learn one of those before you learn Spanish. I just think it's maybe planning ahead a little bit too much, and not thinking about like your surroundings.
They've scaled it back though. They've gone from teaching like all 3 like Germanic two Germanic languages and then the 2 Romantic languages, French and Spanish, and then German's the Germanic one. They've gone from that to only teaching French and Spanish. I don't know, at least for my school district, they like canceled German just out of nowhere.
HTHI had Spanish and Mandarin. The Mandarin teacher didn't really speak English, so she just lost control of the class most of the time.
Yeah.
Luckily, with my French teacher, he like has a master's or something in linguistics. He's actually like super Hispanic, but he's really good at French. But it's funny because he took linguistics as his like major, so he gets a lot of phrases mixed up for like American lingo. Yeah, so it's really interesting to have a conversation with him because like he's very proper when he speaks because he can't really process the slang.
Yeah. All the Spanish teachers I've had have been white, so like they had like Spanish ancestry, and that's why I learned it. But they would still like try to teach the Latin dialect that's more common here.
I didn't know that the Latin dialect was more common here.
Yeah, I mean for like Mexico, South America, Central America versus like Spain or Castilian Spanish.
Yeah,
because there's some words that are different between them.
Okay, that's cool. Anyway,
this is Sarah King on Oh Well You Bastards.
That's one of our earlier intros. We usually get to it around the 10-minute mark.
Oh my God, really? How long have we
Yeah.
been doing this for? Like what, 5 minutes? Maybe less?
Thereabouts.
Yeah, we're about 7 minutes in
Oh my God.
This is the talking.
with the intro.
This is the talking about how long the podcast is podcast, brought to you by Casper Mattress.
Anyway, hi guys. I'm the guest today. I'm drinking La Croix Pamplemousse. I've already actually explained that, but
Oh yeah, we went over it in graphic detail. We went over all the different ways
You
to
know
pronounce
what?
LaCroix.
I really need to vent right now about like people shitting on La Croix. Look,
You mean me?
sparkling water, La Croix.
La Croix.
La Croix.
Sparkling water has been around for I don't even know how long. I used to think it was fucking nasty. Like it tasted like television static.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, the first two LaCroix I had when I was a kid I hated, but now I love it.
But okay, I started out
I just
as
mean like
a,
I drank straight club soda once, and I was like, why did I
Well,
do
club
that?
soda, the bubbles are thick.
Yeah.
See, you got to get fine
It's like
bubbles.
it's like each bubble is punching you in the roof of the mouth.
It's like Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
But so basically, I feel like as an adult you kind of appreciate the gassy water a little bit more. You appreciate that little burp you get. No, for real though. Like I was drinking Pellegrino like 5 or 6 years ago. That was my drink of choice. And then Perrier came with the Perrier. Their Perrier.
You can only say
Their
with a breathy
flavored
voice.
waters. Lime Perrier is my drink of choice, but the grapefruit or the lemon. But see, La Croix is super innovative. Like they come with like every flavor you could ever imagine. Excuse me. See what I mean?
It's okay. We're adults. We appreciate them now.
So it's
We
like
have lots of podcasts with burps too.
someone like me who just appreciates the like smelling fruit while drinking sparkling water can really enjoy that. So stop shitting on LaCroix.
It's the entire experience in one cast.
Stop attacking LaCroix, guys.
Yeah.
Leave LaCroix
It's just
alone.
trying to be there and satisfy our need to burp while also having a light fruity flavor.
Exactly. And you
just
taste it when you burp. So it makes your burps delicious.
No, I like to drink root beer and have my burps burn.
And that's your choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They just blast out my nostrils every time. It's just absolute agony, and I love it.
See, you can enjoy your nasty root beer burps, and I can enjoy my nasty LaCroix burps.
Yeah. And because they hurt so much, I only drink maybe one root beer a week, maybe less. So it helps me drink less soda, which is good. But yeah, when I drink it, just the burps are just absolute agony. Just terrible.
I used to drink a Coke a day from pretty much 14 to 22, and I've scaled it back a little bit. Like I always have sparkling water available, so I don't give in again. Because if I go like a few weeks to a month without a Coke, and then the next one I have, like I'm back to one a day again, and that's too much sugar.
Well, and that's another thing. It's like if you're like me and you grew up a sugar addict and like you had the childhood obesity problem that no one wants, you can find some appreciation in sparkling water because first of all, it has no sugar, and two, it's water that fills you up so you don't feel the need to go snack on something later. Yeah. So I'm all about it. It's like fiber without the calories. So. Or whatever you want to call it.
It just fills the void.
It fills the void in my heart.
That's a great new tagline. LaCroix. It fills the void.
Should I start a Nihilist La Croix page like Nihilist Arby's?
Dude, can we? Wait, there's a Nihilist Arby's page.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Oh, we've talked about it before now.
Life is meaningless. Eat Arby's roast beef sandwich.
And I always just,
Dude.
I always resort to reading those posts in my Werner Herzog voice. Just like, life is meaningless. Eat the Arby's roast beef sandwich. Just like
That was like slightly British.
it's weird. Werner Herzog is a specific voice. It's not a German accent. It sounds like either a British guy doing an impression of a German person or a German person doing an impression of a British person.
Interesting. Okay.
Have you heard of this guy?
No.
He does really depressing documentaries.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. What kind of documentaries?
Like one I watched was him talking about guys on death row in Texas and like going behind their story and like how stupid their crimes were.
I feel like oh no, it was women on death row. So it's probably not, and has nothing to do with him.
Kind of similar topic, but yeah, he did that one. He did one on like people living in rural like Eastern Russia, like almost to Siberia, where like they're all alcoholics and poor.
Yeah.
It's called Happy People.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like America a little bit, like the Midwest.
Yeah, Middle America ends up being like that too in certain spots.
And he hasn't done one on the opioid crisis yet, has he? Because that sounds like probably the next thing he's gonna do.
I would bet he's working on something like that.
Okay, let's get depressing real quick.
Yeah,
Opioid-
let's go from the fun topic
go
of
from
the
LaCroix
opioid
to
crisis.
opioids.
Yeah,
No,
let's
no,
go
no.
from the opioid crisis to something really
No.
depressing.
This is about the opioid crisis,
Oh,
though.
boy.
Like, all jokes aside, like, the opioid crisis is ruining it for a lot of people that actually need opioids.
Oh yeah, we've
Yeah,
been over this.
yeah. My mom and I have a rare disease mast cell activation, and a lot of people in that community,
Yeah.
like they depend on fentanyl or like other strong opiates that they can't get now because like doctors are treating them like addicts
Yeah, no, it's like everyone's
when they're
the
dealing
same.
with like pain that nobody should be dealing with.
It's going from one extreme to another. It's not
Yep.
at all how you should be dealing with it.
It's an overcorrection to a problem that
a
should have-
problem that's tough to solve. Yeah,
And it's like
but
this
that
whole-
should have been preventable in the first place if you really look at how it got started.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this whole like marijuana being legal thing, yeah, that's great, but sometimes it doesn't work for people.
Yeah.
Like opioids don't make you paranoid or hungry
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. I don't know what else marijuana really does.
Mostly
other than-
paranoid, hungry, and lazy. Yeah.
Opioids got that covered though. The
yeah.
lazy part.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you really don't have a choice.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, it's mostly just paranoid, hungry, and lazy, and sometimes really paranoid, which is fun.
Oh, that is really fun. Yeah.
My first weed experience, eating too much of an edible and freaking out.
Oh my God, that happened to somebody. Okay.
That's why
I
your
have a
first one
story
should never be
time.
an edible. Please, please, please.
Yeah. Okay. So I was on this trip with my choir, and we signed this thing. Obviously, for like accountability and liability, we signed this contract that while on the trip, we would not engage in any illegal activities such as like marijuana or even drinking at all, because it was a school sanctioned trip. So technically, you can't really drink on a school trip.
Right.
I mean, obviously nobody really follows the drinking part because everyone wants to go have a beer in San Francisco. By the way, this is where we were.
Yeah, the waiver should really just have a wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the end.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's all for liability, and it's like it pretty much takes the liability out of the school's hands. So one of the people on the trip had a medical card, and this is before
Before it was like fully
before it was
legal in
I think this
California.
was like mid 2016 this happened.
Yeah.
So this kid was like, hey, can you get me an edible? And the guy, stupid, was like, cool, like, yeah, I'll get you an edible, just give me some money.
No follow-up questions. Just like, fuck yeah, I can get you an edible.
Yeah. And so bringing it to when this kid was hanging out with me and my friends in our hotel room, we were just hanging out, we were doing, Pilates as you do.
Right.
And
right.
he was, and I ended up going to bed while they were still awake. I sleep like a log, but I heard this conversation. So he said, oh, I had some of this edible. Like, I don't remember the time frame, but it's not working. I should have some more. And I just remember my friend saying, you shouldn't have the rest. It's probably going to kick in really hard. apparently he didn't listen because he went missing in the morning.
Oh, fuck.
Turns out he freaked out. They had to wake up the professor, and he went to the hospital, got kicked off the trip, and for the rest of the year they were like on academic probation. Can't believe they didn't get expelled, but they did not.
Jesus.
Yeah, Mesa College. They did have them do like community service and stuff, so I guess they really didn't want to ruin their lives for some marijuana.
Yeah, like getting kicked out of community college, that's a low, especially if
so
you're trying to go
stupid.
back to university at some point.
Well, I mean, you heard about that guy that got kicked out of Mesa for like getting drunk and punching someone, right?
No.
Oh my god!
Phyllis,
I've
That
seen a
was
fight at Mesa though.
Oh yeah, I've seen a fight over parking, but that
over.
just,
Well, yeah,
that just
over
happens.
Parking.
Yeah, but they got all up in each other. It was bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it was right outside my classroom window, so I was just like, what the fuck?
Entertainment.
Yeah, it was like down in the little portable offices down in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Back
Oh,
when-
that was probably way back in the
yeah,
day then.
back when those were still there and before they got moved to the other side of the parking lot.
Yeah, now they're like classrooms.
Yeah.
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 No, this guy, this was in 2015, I think, like
Mm-hmm.
fall of 2015. This guy got drunk, and I guess his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend was part of the art department, and
boy.
they were doing a showing, and he like stole her painting that hadn't dried yet. Oh no! And so she ran after him, and he ended up going to the music department where everyone knew him, which was a stupid move.
Yep.
Tried to hide in, the recording tech area.
Yeah.
Tried to hide in there. He was a recording tech major.
Mm-hmm.
He's drunk the whole time that this is happening.
I don't know if he was on any other kinds of drugs. I just don't want to speculate, but like he was definitely drunk.
Yeah.
He ended up getting apprehended by a couple of the students, and he punched some chick he didn't even know in the face.
Oh,
And
God.
she was just like laying on the ground, like holding her nose the whole time. And it was really crazy because like he ended up in the hallway where all the practice rooms were, and I just like carried on like normal, and he was just laying there while the cops were like had like apprehended him, and he was like, I just wanted to talk to her.
Oh,
Something
no.
different happened in the music department a few years ago. I read about it either online or in a newspaper. 2 guys were caught having sex in the piano rooms.
Two guys?
Yeah.
What? I never heard of that.
Yeah, they got kicked off campus or maybe suspended if they were students. I don't know. But
You know
I
what?
remember reading about it.
At that point, just try for Hail Mary pass. Tell him it was performance art. See if that'll get you off the hook.
No way.
No.
It's worth a shot. You have no other options left.
I was just
I mean,
hugging him
sure.
for playing piano so well.
And you see, there was a brief fire, so we had to remove our burning clothes. And it's all very rational when you think about it.
The fires are pretty common in the piano rooms.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Especially when you play fast, you got things like fire.
No, it actually kind of pisses me off because like the music department is so underfunded at Mesa, and it's like, I don't know. Like the school looks beautiful, and then everything is so
that
underfunded.
area is like empty, even when there are tons of people in the library and like the main quad over by the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never went out. I never went over there because it was spooky.
To the music department?
Yeah,
Really? That's where I spent all of my time.
I got near it. I never went inside.
Oh, no, that was my home away from home for a while. It was great. And now I'm at State, which is huge comparatively.
Yeah. And impossible to park in.
State?
Yeah.
Do you go to State? Oh,
No.
wait, no, we talked about this.
No, but I've been to, I have friends who go to State. I've been to their places. I've been invited to events.
See, like,
It's-
State seemed so much bigger before I went there.
Mm.
But when you go there and you realize how claustrophobic it is because of the amount of student body,
It's a lot of people.
it's crazy.
And it's impossible to park
It's impossible to go anywhere without getting
in
run
such
over.
a small space.
Yeah. Okay. So like, there's by my department there is like a lane where you can ride your bikes, and
Right.
people always bomb that hill on their skateboards. It's so hard to actually like get the time to cross.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a choice because like either you're staying in that area or you cross. There's no other way out.
There's no other
So I'm
way
like
out.
stuck risking my life every day. I'm just like waiting for the day someone like flies off of their skateboard.
Jesus.
I've had some skateboarding accidents as a kid. I think I still have a scar from one.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Scars stay forever. Dude, when you get like a mosquito bite as an adult, it's scars.
It's just gonna be there.
It's going to be there forever.
Yeah. But I remember I also had it wasn't skateboarding, but I bombed a hill when I was a little kid. I was like 7 or 8, and I was going down this hill, the one right up the street from our house, Claremont Drive.
That's a gnarly one.
It's a pretty steep hill, and but it was before they had those new wheelchair accessible curbs installed. So it was just like the hard drop 7-inch curve, and I'm riding down, and I don't know what happened. I either like froze from going too fast or like totally lost my grip or something, but I didn't use my handbrakes at all, and so I went down gunk over that curb at top speed, hit the next curb. And that was a hard stop. I flipped over the handlebars and it flew a couple feet and then just slammed down and ground on the pavement. That shit hurt.
So this is kind of a non sequitur, but I totally didn't realize that the curbs are like that because of wheelchairs.
Yeah.
It's for ADA compliance. Even though nobody in a wheelchair goes down. I'm like, Martin and I were walking through the neighborhood, and he decided to bomb the hill in the middle of the street instead of going on the sidewalk. He thought the sidewalk was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It's pretty narrow. So
it's narrow, and there's usually obstructions. Like, there's nobody's taking a wheelchair down.
Yeah. If he goes off one way or the other for just like a split second, he's hitting something.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for that. It's not a great sidewalk for wheelchair accessibility, even with those curbs.
Yeah. What's ADA?
American Disabilities Act. It's from like a decade or two ago.
About 2 decades now.
Yeah.
It was during Clinton.
That's why most or all businesses and schools have to have a wheelchair ramp.
That's pretty understandable.
Yeah.
I like the wheelchair
And
ramps.
that's why there has to be like elevator accessibility, which there weren't as many elevators before in certain older buildings.
Yeah.
Now lazy people just complain if there's too many people in the elevator.
But
Yeah.
the protest that was staged in Washington leading up to the ADA was pretty cool. Tragic, but still pretty impressive. How they pulled it off. It was like large groups of protesters who were in wheelchairs, who had crutches, who had all these assistance things, were protesting outside of the Senate building, and they all just kind of got out of their chairs, dropped their crutches, and started crawling their way up the 60 some odd steps to the Senate building, and like they had to be dragged back down by police. And so like all this, there's footage of all this. There's like all these iconic photographs of the protest, and it got in everybody's minds. And so it was either a couple weeks or a couple months later that the ADA was passed, which was cool.
And they say protests don't do anything. Of course they do.
Exactly. All you have to do is get dragged down some stairs, apparently. That's all it takes.
Oh, God, that's it?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Cheery subjects. Opioid crisis.
Well, okay, so I can give you something humorous. So
Please.
at the music building at San Diego State,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this elevator is regulation. It cannot be regulation. It is so, what's the word for it? Decrepit.
Mm-hmm.
Janky. Haunted.
Janky. Ooh, that building is definitely haunted. It is
Great.
definitely cursed.
Terrific. Tell me more.
Anyway, so that elevator gets stuck, and like 7 people were in it, and somebody just like filmed it getting stuck.
And only 3 came out.
No. But it was really scary because like my stupid friend decides that he should jump in the elevator sometimes, and it actually bounces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook meme group I'm a part of called "What Zoning Board Approved This." So there's like doors that open to the 3rd story with like no staircase, it just drops off, or elevators that only open like halfway between a floor, and all these sorts of photos where it's not like kept up to standards. I think a lot of them come from like countries outside of the U.S. too, because like they don't have it like legislated that it needs to be that way.
Well, yeah, probably a lot of the smaller Slavic countries.
Yeah, well, a lot of people from the Philippines post there now, from what I see.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm depressed to know that they had this like entire city in, what was it, Taiwan or China, or It was like a city within itself. It was like just this building that
the
kept building
Kowloon
on.
walled city.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a building jam packed with people, not up to code whatsoever. They had like everything that they needed on the first floor, like a deli, like another market, liquor store, and then like just so many apartments piled up.
Oh my god.
Highest population density ever.
You guys, that's just the premise of Dredd. You guys have seen that movie, right?
No.
Oh, it's basically just that, but also Judge Dredd. It's a comic book movie. It's about fascism and stuff like that. But yeah,
I've definitely heard of it, and it sounds interesting. I've just never had the chance to see it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's basically just Die Hard, but really, really sweaty and gross, and in the future, and everything's terrible. Yeah, and it's basically just Kowloon Walled City.
Yeah.
It's probably like what inspired it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad to know that it's not there anymore. You can't visit it. There's a lot of video of it, though.
Yeah. I would not want to visit that. Because I feel like you'd just get stuck at one point, and then you'd just live
You would
there.
get like caved in at some point, like you step in the wrong place.
Yeah, and then and then it's just too much work getting out, so you're just stuck there. You live there now.
I don't know. That sounds fun. No. Why are you laughing so hard?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
laugh way too hard, and I don't know why.
It sounds, yeah. I like watching depressing documentaries.
Occasionally, like I'll be talking about like something horrible, and I just start laughing because I don't know what else to do. Like it's just like, oh, this is awkward saying this.
Wait, really? Oh, I just go, oh yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like what supervillains do.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a supervillain.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
good to know.
I'm watching
on
this
that.
show called The Good Place right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great show.
I love it. Ted Danson plays a.
It's got all the philosophy packed into it too.
Oh, I mean the main guy is like a moral philosopher, or a moral philosophy professor.
Yeah.
Yes, Cheaty, my man. He's so beautiful. So is
And Adam Scott is like a demon or the devil.
Yes, he is the devil. My favorite is obviously what's her name? Who plays Tahani?
Oh, not
I don't know.
Kristen Brie or
No, Kristen Bell's the main girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Tahani. Yeah. I'm not sure her.
It
name.
doesn't matter. I'm on the episode right now where she ends up using Janet as like a counselor.
Oh yeah.
And like her limbs like start falling off.
And isn't there a second Janet at some point?
The evil Janet, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, have you only seen the
Naked
first
Janet.
season?
I've seen both, but like I was a little bit distracted while I was watching it too. So
You were distracted.
phone.
Millennials.
Yeah, I double watch, scroll and watch.
See, I try not to do that because then I miss stuff, and I really want to know details, so I end up like taking an hour to watch a half-hour episode because I like keep having to go back and rewind, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't go back and rewind. If my phone's in my pocket, I'll pull it out. But then, like, sometimes I'll leave my phone in another room on purpose, so I know I'm paying attention.
My favorite thing is, I work up in the living room. I just sit at that table and draw and write and do all my business. And so whatever somebody else in the room is watching on TV, I'm also like kind of one quarter watching it. And the thing is, our dad likes to scroll on his phone while he watches TV, but then he realizes that he's been missing stuff, so he rewinds and then watches it again and then pulls out his phone and does the same thing again.
Oh my god.
So I have watched the same episode of Madam Secretary a little bit at a time about 17 times.
That's your dad sounds like me. Much better said than my current
He
situation.
also watches a lot of cycling and various sports that he's not really paying attention to.
Cycling.
Yeah, he got really into cycling.
You can watch that?
I know, right?
He has like a little cowbell tidings.
a lot. Yeah,
What?
he gets
It's
into
a thing.
He gets into it. Yeah,
What a meme.
yeah.
Cycling is kind of cool, like seeing all these like beautiful vistas in France and like tour to California when it goes to the mountains.
And the occasional crash.
Right
It's
in
like
my
watching
face.
NASCAR, but it's just people. There's
Yeah.
no cars. Yeah. You know what? The one that I still can't wrap my head around people watching is golf. I just cannot understand it.
I get really excited when the guy shoots the birdie.
I don't know that much about
And-
golf.
and
Is
smacks the eagle.
is the birdie okay?
I have no idea.
I've never played golf. Only putt-putt golf.
I played
That's an
putt-putt
actual
golf.
sport. That's an actual sport.
Wait, is mini golf an actual sport?
It is to me.
Oh.
It's a game of
Mini golf in the Olympics.
It's a game of actual skill. It has creativity and variety, and there's tension. It's not just going on a super overwatered field with maybe one hill and smacking a ball from really far away.
And sometimes you get to use your foot when no one's looking.
Well, and that carries over to both versions of the game. You
You
just have to walk really far with regular golf.
Yeah.
You know how in mini golf, like you'll put it into the mouth of a monster, or there'll be a rotating thing that carries your ball.
Yeah, actual challenge.
Yeah, and imagine like the presentation that would go behind like professional mini golf.
Oh yeah, I've long.
It'll be like Rube Goldberg machines, but like amazing monsters made out of them.
So you know how like kids' activities when they're younger kind of inspire them to do like creative things in their life?
Yeah.
Like you take singing lessons or drama camp as a kid, gymnastics, and then they become a cheerleader. I don't understand how mini golf could inspire somebody to want to like be in a large field and hope that their aim is good enough for a ball to like fly 100 feet next to them and hit a hole.
It really doesn't carry over. I feel like it makes more sense in reverse. Like in the 1920s, your dad takes you in the old truck out to a big open field and you smack a ball really far away and you're like, one day I'm going to do this for real in the big city with a bunch of lights and it's going to have all these cool traps and stuff. It should be the other way around. Yeah. Mini golf should be the pinnacle of regular golf. And regular golf should be the intro that leads you into mini golf.
And mini golf courses are more environmentally responsible. They're fake grass, not the real grass that takes so much water.
They're a bunch of small patches of AstroTurf with a bunch of paper mache and plaster everywhere, as opposed to just acres and acres of grass that does not want to be there. So you have to water the shit out of it.
And it's self-contained. Well, actually, you just said what I was about to say.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I wanted to look up something while I remember. I found like a water use map, and like golf courses take up like the size of Connecticut if like it's a proportion of the U.S.'s water.
That's disgusting, and I never really think about that.
Yeah, I really would not hate golf as much as I do if they like tried to tailor different golf courses to like their surroundings. Like if you're in a drier, more desert-ish climate, just take out all the grass and have like a cool desert golf course. Just like make it unique to the environment instead of trying to make everything Scotland.
Do they try to make everything Scotland? See, I'm so clueless.
Because like golf was, I'm probably bungling the history, but golf I believe was invented in Scotland where everything is grassy and it's rolling hills and stuff. So every golf course is trying to be that. Whereas instead it should just be what the actual surroundings are like, because that's how nature wants it to be. You don't have to force it with gallons and gallons of water every day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find it now.
Yeah, Scotland.
Ah, I was right. I
right.
got a thing right. And because of that, I have credibility forever. I got one thing right, and it's on the record. So now I can be wrong about as many things as I want.
Okay, I'm gonna
fine.
Google how much water does golfing waste?
Just planet wide. That's gonna be a number that really hurts. Oh boy.
It's even worse how many golf courses are in Arizona.
Oh my god.
California isn't drought enough, but Arizona people should not live there in general.
Desert golf courses. Everything would be less egregious if there were desert golf courses.
Oh God,
also,
this is
nobody living in
complicated.
Arizona. I've been over this. We should just get all the people out of Arizona and turn it into one giant solar farm.
We give them the money for their house, or like at least a stipend, move them to like Minnesota or Kansas, anywhere that has more water than Arizona.
Yeah. So we solve the energy crisis and the human beings living in Arizona crisis all at once.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the only way you can live in Arizona and not want to kill yourself is by having a air conditioner.
That's running 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7.
I mean, that's when Arizona first came about, it was like a tech like there was just a bunch of jobs being put there, and that's how they boomed the population, was the invention of air conditioning.
Yeah, because Lord knows people weren't going there for funsies.
It honestly though, like, isn't Freon a noble gas? Like Those are finite resources too.
Yep.
Yeah, and our phones have like precious metals that we'll run out of eventually.
Yeah. Qualcomm. Woo!
San Diego, Qualcomm.
I actually did a show with their kid, Dylan Jacobs.
The Qualcomm kid?
Huh?
The Qualcomm kid?
Yeah.
Qualcomm had a kid? Mitt Romney was right.
Yeah,
They
the
are
Jacobs.
Yeah,
They
the
are
Jacobs
people.
that went to High Tech High too.
Well, yeah, High Tech High. They made the whole thing. I mean, they're still running it. They own part of UCSD too. I think they do a lot of good with their money. I mean, like, I can't really get mad at that.
Mm.
Let's talk about depressing shit again.
Yeah.
When you are wealthy, you're kind of obligated to give to charity, like your lawyer or like your PR person will tell you, yeah, you need to give this amount of money to charity or else you're going to be under fire like constantly.
Yeah, but they own like part of the symphony, the San Diego Symphony.
Yeah, Jacobs have been pretty good about that.
Yeah, no, they're actually good people for sure.
I just remember like seeing like some investigative report about where the money from the Gates Foundation actually goes.
Oh, really?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't quote specifically. It's been a while since I read it.
But is it good or bad? What's the
Some good, but more bad things than they publicize usually.
Yeesh.
Like somebody really did the digging to find out.
That sucks. I don't know. That doesn't surprise me at all, though. Like, the most wealthy people in the world probably don't allocate their funds.
And then there's another thing. It's like kind of conspiratory, but I think it was in like Washington Post or something like that, maybe Wired, about how Silicon Valley, like all those multi-million, billion-dollar companies, like they're investing in charter schools because charter schools are teaching coding, and then they could get tech workers for cheap in the future.
Oh, that's kind of a conspiracy, but I can see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like seemed like pretty conspiratory for where it was published. That's the thing.
Yeah, where was it published?
Yeah. I don't know if I could find it right now. It was some like big internet magazine. Shared on Facebook.
I'm sure that actually came up. Oh, yep, I see the little waves of my breathing.
Yeah.
Sadasana.
ASMR audiobooks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you tripped yourself up on that one.
I coughed a lot. Yeah, so like it was welcome week at San Diego State. So I'm very like out of it. Like I went to bed super duper tired.
This fell.
Is it
More
falling?
than I wanted.
Oh no, sorry.
Your coughing did this.
La Croix. Oh, that's funny. No, so basically like I'm so tired to the point where like I fall asleep just like instantly, and then I woke up this morning so sore. Like I didn't do anything. I don't know why I'm so sore. Maybe carrying books. Oh, so I rescued a dog yesterday in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, I saw that photo.
Yeah. Oh, he was so cute. My roommate said that we should name him Sanchez, but I took it a step further, and you'll never guess what I named him.
What's a step further than Sanchez?
Well, the second word is still Sanchez.
El Sanchez.
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's cruel.
Yeah, but dogs sniff their butts all the time.
True. Themselves and each other's.
Yeah. He was so cute though. Yeah, I mean that was kind of a rescue mission. I ended up hanging out with him for like 3 hours until his owner was found, so no.
Did you say bye-bye, Dirty Sanchez, as they were walking away?
No.
Oh. Then why even give him the name?
The dog did try to follow me back into my house though.
Aw.
Yeah. I treated him well. I give him peanut butter, bologna, cheese. He was definitely someone's baby. So, like, have you guys owned dogs before?
Yeah, we own one.
Yeah.
Sandy, she's in Big Bear right now.
Oh.
Yeah, we actually, last time I was up there, we actually found a giant dog walking around, just walking all around. He was only with us for like maybe 2 or 3 hours. The owner just let him accidentally let him off the leash when he ran after a rabbit in the woods and then wandered it down into our yard. So I just kept him in the yard. It took a while to actually like read the number off his tags, because anytime you got a handle on it, I mean, this dog was roughly the same size as me. Yeah,
It's a huge
He was
dog.
like some big Doberman Mastiff hybrid, and so it took me a while just like trying to gently wrestle with him to get the tag before he would turn his head and jerk it out of my hand. And at one point, he actually like turns his head and my entire arm winds up in his mouth, and like I don't know if the dog's okay or not at this point. I'm just like, oh shit. And then he just turns his head again and lets my arm out of his mouth like he didn't even notice it was there. I'm just like, yeah, you're a very large dog. And like he was sniffing our dog. Sandy was like a little terrier poodle mix, and you see the two of them next to each other, and his head was as big as her.
Oh my god.
He was huge.
See, that's my issue with helping animals. It's like they think you're trying to hurt them most of the time when you're helping them.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad. Like this dog was like, because I was following it at first. He was looking back and like walking faster as I was walking.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I guess he realized I wasn't trying to hurt him, because I like ran across the street and he stopped to like check me out, and then I ended up being able to pet him and he followed me home. But then I took him to Petco to like find out if he had a chip or not, which he did. That's how I found the owner. Mm-hmm. And like he kept trying to run away. I was like, dude, we just spent 3 hours together. We go way back. Yeah.
I named you Dirty Sanchez. Do you not appreciate that?
No. I mean, that's what his revenge is. You named me Dirty Sanchez.
The tortoise
How
we
dare you.
found in our alley, we know the owner now, and he's cool with Timmy staying here.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we found out his name is Timmy. Yeah, and like he lives right across the alley. He can still like see the tortoise. Sorry, if he's just out and about.
Yeah.
If he's not hiding under anything.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
This neighbor, he throws like spinach and lettuce over for Timmy.
Yeah.
We have more room for him to roam in this yard.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten out yet, which, tortoises are surprisingly good escape artists. Who
Yeah,
probably
I
should figure
blocked
it out by now.
the back gate with some of those big wood things that we had.
Okay, so you said to me the other night that tortoises run surprisingly fast.
Yeah, when they want to, they can move.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
It's not like human speed running, but they
Yeah.
can move faster than like
yeah.
a slow crawl than people expect.
Yeah, you can still comfortably outrun a tortoise, but, you can't just like leisurely walk towards it and catch up. It'll keep moving. Yeah, like full tilt, it can go like roughly the speed that a normal person walks at a casual pace.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how big was he when you rescued him? Same size he is?
About the same size that he is right now.
What?
Yeah, he's 9 years old.
How much does he... Excuse me. How much does he weigh?
Like 30 pounds.
That's not that...
Yeah, he's about the size of my torso.
That's not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 25, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
Love that boy.
Yeah.
He will try to bite your toes.
He thinks they're grapes.
Thinks they're grapes.
Yeah.
Gotta stop painting them purple.
Oh, God.
He likes lettuce, spinach, celery, mangoes, apples.
Fucking loves peaches.
Yeah, I love peaches too.
Do you, like, take the pit out first, or do you just know to eat around it?
I usually let him eat around it, and then he'll start to go for the pit. But like when he's finishing up with the peach part, I'll just like I'll just reach in and get it real quick.
Yeah.
When I have a mango, I actually give him the pit because he'll chew on that pit for hours to get like all the juice out of it.
Is a mango pit just like a peach pit, though? Like,
It's bigger, so he can't swallow it whole.
Okay, because I know mango pits are like actually poisonous. Like they have cyanide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I looked at mangoes when I wanted to feed him one first, and like other owners were saying, yeah, I just let him chew on the pit.
Yeah. No, I'm sure the mango pit's different though, because like I know peaches and apricots actually have poisonous pits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my dog actually got into it.
Isn't it
Yeah.
like seeds have like enough arsenic that if you ate like way too many of them, it would kill you?
Yeah, I mean, like, so Richard thinks I'm a monster for doing this, but I used to eat the whole apple.
You monster.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why I have so much brain damage.
You two are just circus freaks. I don't know why. I don't know what would possess you to do that.
I actually
apple
didn't.
seed, like the amount in one apple, it is like arsenic, but it wouldn't be that bad for you. If you took like the seeds out of a whole bag of apples, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah,
Well,
I
at
remember.
that point, my major concern is that you're just wasting apples.
Yeah.
Let me see. Peach pit poison. Yeah, my dog actually. My mom left out like apricot pit or something, and he, for some reason, my dog doesn't like anything that isn't an animal product. Like he will like if you give him
they are carnivores. Like they could eat other things.
Yeah, but like if you
meat.
give him like a hot pocket, for example,
Mm-hmm.
he will suck the bit out that is like cheese and meat and then spit out the rest of it. So it just boggles my mind how he thought to eat a peach pit or apricot pit or whatever it was.
Maybe he thought it was a Rocky Mountain oyster.
Rocky Mountain oyster, yeah. So the amount is very small, apparently, but you never know. I mean, like he went to poison control. It was very expensive.
If it's eaten by a very small animal, then a very small amount of arsenic can be bad.
Well, I mean, my dog is humongous.
Oh, yeah. What kind of dog?
He's a Labrador Retriever and Shepherd mix, and both breeds are pretty large, but he's larger than both breeds.
Dogs aren't supposed to have grapes.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They can get kidney failure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nikki used to like beg for grapes, and I kept them away from her.
Yeah. I mean, if they have one grape, I'm sure they won't die.
Yeah,
But like,
especially a big dog like her.
Yeah.
one of my dogs got hit by a car when I was a kid, and there was he was kept in like the animal hospital, and there was this room with another dog in it, and she had gotten into a bowl of grapes, like just ate the whole thing, and she had gotten into renal failure.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really no joke when they say, yeah, don't feed your dog grapes, especially raisins, because it's like concentrated grape.
Yeah.
Yep.
Death raisins.
New
Dog's
horror
poison.
movie.
Death raisins.
It's like the singing raisins,
It's like
but they kill people.
Oh my god,
Oh,
no!
they're scary enough already.
The sequel to Pet Sematary, Death Raisins.
That's good.
I've actually never seen Pet Cemetery. I'd be down,
Yeah.
but it's not on Netflix, and so I don't have immediate access to it, and then I forget about it.
Yeah, I remember I read the book and then I watched the movie. And
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
I heard
They're-
the book is way better, though,
They're-
obviously.
yeah. And it's Stephen King most of the time. If it goes to a movie or a TV show or anything, it comes out weird.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, The Shining movie is almost nothing like the book,
Yeah.
except for, like, the character names.
Yep.
But Stephen King directed his own, like, miniseries based off of The Shining.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
I
was
saw that one,
so
too.
boring.
It was pretty bad because it doesn't carry over. It doesn't
Yeah.
carry over. It works in a book where you can describe something like a writing desk as detailed as another writer might talk about their main character, and that's
Yeah.
why his books are so goddamn thick.
Yeah.
But it doesn't carry over into movies. It just makes movies really slow
And long.
and long.
God, it was 3 DVDs long.
Yeah.
I remember renting this movie at Blockbuster, everyone. Yeah.
So it took 3 trips.
No. No, of course, like, it was in its own little folder,
Yeah,
but
okay.
oh my God. Luckily, Blockbuster had this beautiful thing called a grace period, so I was able to finish the damn movie. Yeah.
You had to pop it in right when you got home, and you were still late.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like you'd be able to rent a movie for a day, but then they had a 1-week grace period, so you basically had the movie for 8 days.
Yeah, I mean, just make it a 7-day rental. Why not?
Yeah.
They probably got like too many people coming in angry about the fees, and like they decided it would be better just to like give that grace period,
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
have all these 17-year-old employees dealing with these angry customers.
Oh,
then-
for
yeah.
sure.
But then why call it a 1-day rental? Just call it a 7-day rental and leave it at that. Because people just want to rent it for 7 days.
Yeah.
If you're allowing them to rent it for a week, then just call it a 1-week rental.
I don't know. Making money? I don't know. Yeah. Blockbuster was so cool, though. I miss that place.
Yeah, the last one in Alaska just closed. I think there's still one more in Oregon.
There's one in Bend, Oregon, yes. Here's the thing. I was actually starting to question if that's like an actual franchise of Blockbuster, or if they just named that store Blockbuster.
I think it was originally a franchise of Blockbuster. Blockbuster, the company, has been gone for years.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if they were just
So, like, the people who filed for the franchise, like, they kept it around even though the company went away.
and even so, if they were stealing the name and the logo, who would be around to sue them?
Nope.
Yeah.
No one.
Exactly. You technically could open up any kind of store and call it a Blockbuster and use that logo, and nobody would give you any trouble about it. You could open up a 5-star restaurant and call it Blockbuster, and the logo is just the Blockbuster logo, and nobody'd be able to stop you.
I'll start up my own electronics store called Circuit City.
But the video stores are going extinct, man. We got to find the last Blockbuster and the last Hollywood Video so that they can repopulate.
I actually miss Circuit City. I mean, like, it was...
Is it gone?
Oh, it's so gone.
Ah,
Yeah, the one near us closed, like...
Yeah, we used to go to that one at the
No.
square.
Yeah. No, that place was cool. That was part of, like, in 6th grade, we had this thing where we did, like, reports on where we live.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I took a Polaroid photo of the Circuit City because I live very close to where that Circuit City was. And, like, walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my first job was at that movie theater over there. And I could literally walk to work in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. But so, like, I was so proud that I lived near Circuit City. So, like, the fact that I was so proud of it just, like, doesn't even matter. I wonder if anyone even heard that, because I'm nowhere near the mic.
It'll pick it up. I'm going to have to use heavy compressor on you.
Hello.
There we go.
Oh, there. So,
There's the waveform.
the wave is like, woo.
Yeah,
There she is.
I've started putting, like, the microphone gain a little bit lower because we have some episodes that have heavy yelling.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
yelling could clip.
Yeah. I mean, my voice clips mics even if I whisper, to be honest, because I have so many sound formats in here that it's crazy.
That's what the windscreen's for.
Singer Life. That's what I thought it was a pop filter.
Yeah, that's a pop filter. And then I put a de-esser for the S's that are too hard.
Yes. Yes.
Scissors.
Snakes.
Slytherin. Sibilance.
Sybil Shepherd.
This is great podcast.
Oh, dude, there are a lot of people with an ASMR king getting a boner right now. We're doing this for them. We're doing this for them.
Dogs are going to start barking when we get into that, like, high hertz range.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ira Glass. Ooh.
The boys are back in town.
Oh my god.
We used to end
That's
episodes in
great.
karaoke, too.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
When-
really?
We're still leaving it open, but
Yeah.
I don't want a copyright takedown.
It
We
was-
already had one.
Yeah. It was when there was more of a prerequisite for everyone to be drunk while doing the podcast.
Really?
We've kind of casually drifted away from that. Like a lot of the time.
I decided to, like, a few episodes ago, and now we've had more sober episodes.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. It's not always convenient. It doesn't always line up that way. People don't always bring booze. So you can definitely, there's a wide gulf. You can tell the difference between the sober episodes and the drunk episodes. Drunk episode. Hey-oh.
Drunk episode, knocking down water bottles.
I was just looking something up and Ian moved the mic towards me. I'm looking up movie times for the Black Klansman. Turns out it's a really long movie, so I may have to hold off on it.
Thanks for calling AMC Mission Valley. Tonight we are playing Black Klansman. Sorry to bother you. The Meg. Would you like to hear showtimes for today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Oh, dude, the AMC helpline sounds a lot like Ian. Also, they're only playing 3 movies at an AMC. Seems like too few.
Fuck other movies.
I thought they had more theaters. Or maybe they're just playing those 3 movies in every single out of like the 18 theaters that they have.
Those are the 3 movies I could think of that are out right now. I don't know what else is in theaters.
Oh, Ian, that was you. I couldn't tell.
That's my new gig. I'm AMC phone line for the senior citizens that still call for showtimes.
So that's why you've had your phone on open call this whole time.
Okay. I actually have a story. So I used to work at this place called Native Foods, and we were a vegan restaurant.
Yeah,
and there
I've
was
been there.
this. Okay,
Oh, well, look at me. I've been to a vegan restaurant.
I worked at a vegan restaurant.
See, she's got cred.
Yeah. Basically, so there was this lady that called, and she didn't have a computer or a smartphone, so she literally called the restaurant in
Landline.
This was like 2016. So if you think about it, that's stupid.
Yeah. For a lot of reasons.
And she was literally asking me the entire menu and asking me to explain the restaurant to her. And we were just about to
And let me guess, she
close.
found the restaurant in the yellow pages.
Yes, she did. She was like, I wanted to try this vegan thing, and I was wondering if you could explain the menu to me. Oh, you have sandwiches. Oh, that's great. Can you explain to me if you have salads? You know, I don't always want a sandwich. That's too many carbs. Oh, yeah. Well, I would actually like to know if you like sell desserts, or how about maybe like some appetizers. Maybe my daughter can take me. She didn't sound like that, but like I was just so frustrated because I was on the phone for 20 minutes with this woman and I was too nice to hang up on her.
Aw.
I was like, just come into the damn restaurant. And I tried to explain it to her.
Okay.
We had a website, but she didn't have a computer.
Just come in. Well, what about the chairs? What kind of chairs do you have there? Could you describe the chairs to me? Could you tell me where they come from?
Do you have Diet Coke? No, we are a plant-based
Do you
restaurant.
have
man.
tab soda?
Oh my god.
What is the thread count on your tablecloth? Do you have a tablecloth? Because if it's a no, then it's a no from me.
Oh my god, it's a no for me.
Do you play FM radio or records in the restaurant?
Or do you play no music? Because I just can't. I just can't with my tinnitus.
You remember ArcLight when like older folks would come in and they would get the show times in the newspaper, but the managers would change the show times after that was published?
Oh my god, ArcLight.
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 I cannot believe I worked there 5 years ago. I cannot believe it. It's probably just as bad. And those tickets were expensive then. I'm wondering how much they are now. Like $14 for like a general admission
It's
ticket.
way too much for what you get. At least like the AMC down the street, you get recliners.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And you get to buy alcohol too. It's like there's no difference almost.
Yeah, ArcLight has like very little benefit now. I could see like how it has a benefit in Hollywood with like the like premiere showings and all that.
Oh,
San Diego
yeah.
one doesn't get that.
Yeah, that's fun. But like the one in Hollywood is also like way fancier.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
nicer.
Mm-hmm. And like I'm sure the people that like work there make mad tips too.
Yeah. LA still has a projectionist union.
They do?
Yeah, that was the thing when I was a projectionist at ArcLight. We were talking about, damn, if we were in LA, we would be making more because they have a union. So, like, a few of us were talking about, like, starting one, and it scared the managers.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
That's so
I won't name
funny.
who, like, brought it up, but it was somebody you know.
Oh, of course. Obviously, it's somebody I know. But like, I just can't believe like they started making the projectionists who were probably the more like socially awkward people.
Yeah, that's why I went for it. I didn't want to be a greeter. I wanted to, like, be in the booth the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like the people that they had be greeters were eventually the projectionists.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And like you would get in trouble for not doing a greet, and it's like, dude, we did not sign up for this when we decided
As
to
a projectionist, you're expecting me to do 3 jobs. Auditoriums wants me to clean theaters at the same time that I'm doing the 2 main tasks.
Yeah, and like there were some theaters where you still had to go upstairs to light them, like theater 7, was it? The
Yeah,
huge
Theater 7.
one. Yeah, like there was no way you could be in 2 places at once, or 5 places at once for that matter.
Yeah.
I would always get in trouble for not doing restroom checks when I was greeter during the day, because I was the only one in auditoriums.
Uh-huh.
And like I would do them, I just wouldn't log them because I did not have time.
Yeah.
But I would get in trouble for it. I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Or the men's restrooms, because no man was there
Yeah.
to do them. Yeah, that job was BS. I'm glad I did it when I was younger.
The free movies benefit was cool. Like, I used to hell out of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
It just kind of sucked because, like, the second it turned 6 o'clock on a Friday, you weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm ripping apart your cork, Matt.
It's okay. That's mostly what it's there for.
I'm ripping it. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's been ripped a bit.
People just kind of pick at it. You can't stop picking at it. It's addictive.
It's like a scab.
Yeah, it's like a giant 8x8 square tile made out of scab. But not in a gross way, just enough fun to pick at way.
That is so 12 by 12. Are you kidding me?
I don't know what distances are. Did I say inches? I don't think I did. You said 8 by 8. I used a unit of measurement that only I know.
It's nautical inches.
It's nautical inches.
See,
yeah.
I think my phone is 6 inches, right? And it takes 2 of my phones. So
yeah, I never said inches. I will hold to that.
Yeah, this is like the size of an LP, pretty much.
Yes.
Of course, that's how you measure 12 inches.
What's an LP?
Record.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm that hipster.
That is an entirely predictable answer for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was about 12 inches long. Oh, like an LP.
Oh
yeah,
my
sure.
God, you guys. I can't believe. So EP is extended play, right? Which was like invented for records.
Yeah.
They still release those, like, but they call them EPs, and they're just like
they're
song
released on their
CDs.
own, and they're like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, there's no like standard measurement because like certain punk bands will do like a 10-minute full album, and then like certain prog bands will call like 40 minutes an EP. So there's like not a unified standard for that. I know way too much about music.
I mean, you're in the right place to know a lot about music.
You're a person who does music, so knowing a lot about music is probably for the best. I mean, if you worked in any other job, it would probably be weird. But yeah, for example, if we swapped knowledge and like you were and like I was a comic book artist who knew way too much about music, yeah, I'd be out of the ordinary, and you'd be a musician who knows way too much about comic books. So, yeah, that would not fit at all.
You're a music major, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Questions?
You brought this up, Ian. What do you got?
I did not have a follow-up question.
I study Lavox, the voice.
It's pronounced La Croix.
Look, I study La Croix. This is the voice. I've actually auditioned for The Voice 3 times.
How did it go?
It's shit, dude. It's so rigged.
Yeah. I don't watch the show. I don't know if you ever got on.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you could say you did, and I'd believe you.
Yeah.
They pick people, like, I think more based off of, like
marketability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, and I'm not very
if they see them
marketable.
as a pop star, not as, like, the best voice. Yeah. Exactly.
Because I would assume that a shit ton of people show up who have good voices, and a shit ton who don't but think they do, or know that they don't and just want attention. But I would assume
and then they pick one that has, like, a terrible voice, but they decided to, like, advance them along anyway.
So this is very disturbing to me. So I've known I wanted to be a voice teacher for a few years.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just fixing the mic. I can't fix it.
Yeah, mic stands fall, especially with this heavy shock mount thing.
It's fine. So I've known I wanted to be a voice teacher for a few years, and I was like kind of like spending some time like self-teaching myself, like not the techniques, but like of course the world of singing, which is very competitive. So that's why like I went and did the voice audition, so I could see the world of like somebody who actually wants to go out there and pursue music or singing as a career. So, I mean, I wasn't that nervous. I even told one of the parents, this is leading up to my thing that's disturbing.
Oh boy.
I told one of the parents mistakenly that I was there to kind of like scope it out and be like, yeah, this is cool because like I want to be a voice teacher. And her mom was like, okay, so what do you think she has to do to get chosen? And this is literally when we're waiting to go in the hall where we sing in front of the talent scout.
Yeah.
And she was like hounding me for like answers, and I didn't have them. I was just there to scope it out and see. Yeah. And then we go into the room, and everyone's pretty good. except for the girl.
Oh,
But the mom was like a stage mom. It's so disturbing that
a
parents are
helicopter parent.
yeah, but it's so strange that parents are so willing to go out of their way and like tell their children that they're good enough for something when they're just not. And that's not to be mean. It's just like
I like what our parents did. Like they wanted to put us in like Boy Scouts and sports and all that. We ended up being bad at sports, so we didn't have to keep
very
doing
bad.
it.
Very
that was
bad
me in
sports.
tap dancing. Like my mom did not want to keep doing it anymore because my tap dancing was like a Lucille Ball routine. Like it was not good. I mean, I'm sure if she kept me in there, it would have improved, which I'm still very bitter about.
Our sister did tap dancing. I think I saw a video once.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I mean I think everyone like kind of does their like dance class, gymnastics, camp as like a kid. It's kind of just something to keep
Karate.
you occupied. Dude, I wish I would have done karate.
I did it for like 3 to 6 months. I wasn't very good at it either. I didn't get the instruction that well.
A lot of it is just doing exercises, which is
Yeah,
I feel like it's
it's
the
a lot of
hardest part.
stretching and practice.
I should have kept at because I did martial arts at Mesa. I should have kept doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just weird to me how so many parents are so like encouraging of their children when it's like they could be encouraging them to do different things
Yeah.
with their life. Because music,
I guess
is
you
so,
gotta find a happy medium. If you, sorry.
well, because music is such a competitive field, and if she's expecting her 16-year-old daughter who has an okay voice and some pitch issues to be able to make it onto The Voice, which is a huge competition, that's very delusional on her part, and it's giving her daughter that same illness, you know.
Yep.
But anyway, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was saying, like, as a parent, you gotta find the happy medium. Like, it's better to get your kids involved in activities than just, like, ignoring them or sticking them in front of a TV and thinking that that's good enough. But then, like, there's the parents like that where they take it overboard and they have, like, such the expectation for their children that their children aren't going to meet and they're going to, like, develop resentment later.
Yeah, and they're just gonna feel like they're not worthy if they don't actually end up
Yeah, so they're
accomplishing.
going to end up with that anxiety or, like, insecurity, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's really disturbing. Like even though like in middle school and elementary school, middle school, high school, like and even college, like I was given a lot of recognition for what I've been given. My parents were still like, eh. Which I guess kind of sucks, but at least it gave me my own drive. Like I didn't feel like I had to please them.
Yeah. Which is for the best.
It's so for the best because like it didn't give me unrealistic expectations because like a very small percentage of people are able to like make it, you know, unless they find like something else to like branch off and do.
Yeah. And like I've talked to a lot of people about this where they'll just recall back to when they were a kid and they just enjoyed doing something. They didn't really think about it as like a career or as their future. They just enjoyed doing it. Like, you know, I'm an artist. I take that seriously as my career path and I'm working towards that. But I've talked to other people who just really like to draw. They don't really think about it as a career path or anything like that. They're happy with the work that they do that has nothing to do with drawing, and then they just draw in their spare time to relax, or they just enjoy singing like around the house and in the shower and stuff like that. They don't take those things seriously. But as soon as their parents caught wind of the fact that they were good at those things, it suddenly became all about those things. And like their parents just assumed, oh yeah, he likes to draw, so he wants to be an artist when he grows up. She likes to sing, so she wants to be a singer when she grows up. And then they go really overboard trying to make that their kid's career path, trying to help them or think that they're helping them. And it actually just takes all the fun and passion out of that for them.
Yeah,
and they don't learn,
Yeah.
and they don't learn to enjoy it again for like decades.
I feel like as like if in the case of the singer, I'm not sure if art is the same. If you are like teaching a child, you need to make them want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I have this 11-year-old student, and the dad like so wants her to take ukulele lessons, and I've been teaching her, and her parents are trying to pressure her into doing voice lessons, and while that's good because I'm sure she's probably a good singer, I don't want to also be the one to pressure her to do it. I want to just be like, yo, this is fun. Like, you got to practice, but practicing is what makes it easier, and making it easier also makes it more fun. Like, I mean, as a teacher, it's kind of your job to approach it in a way that makes them still want to do it.
Yeah, kids are kind of resistant to learning outside of school. Like, I was that way when I took piano lessons as a kid. Like, I didn't want to practice.
And then you so regret it now, right?
Yeah. The
Well,
thing
I left it alone for like years, and I came back to it when I actually wanted to play.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was resistant to learning in school. So, like, I loved reading until I was required to read books, and then for years after, I hated it, and I've only gotten back into the habit in, like, the last 2 or 3 years. But, like, basically anything that I was passionate about, as soon as you put it in an academic setting, I just shut down and started hating it.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, like, as soon as I was done with high school, I was like, man, I don't want to go to college. So I took, like, basically what amounted to, like, 3 gap years. Even though I was still in college, I was never full-time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I ended up just, like, coming at it from the approach of, like, well, I want to learn, and school is a vessel for learning what I want to learn, you know, because eventually once you get past all of the general shit, which doesn't mean anything, you actually get to learn and have resources to learn these amazing things like audio recording and stuff. Like, you're doing that for a while.
Yeah, that's the reason I took so many music classes at Mesa, is like it's a lower cost than university, and I still get to learn all this cool stuff about like jazz and world music and recording arts, like stuff that will help me like continue to pursue my hobbies, because I don't want to major in music really. When I go back to school, it's either gotta be for civil engineering or like IT, something with computers.
You should so do IT, dude.
Yeah,
it's like the way. Civil engineering, I feel like it's great, but I feel like it's such a saturated field. Yeah. And it's hard. It's such a saturated field, though. Like, I don't know. Like psychology, because everyone wants to learn about, like, the human brain, but there's very few actual jobs out there for people with just a bachelor's. So you have to go get a master's.
Oh, yeah. A lot of engineering jobs require masters, so you're pretty much stuck doing that.
At that point, like, I know so many people with bachelor's degrees that are just dead inside after they get their degree. They just don't want to go to school anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of people just, like, naturally, they end up in jobs that aren't their major. Like, you don't have to pick your career for life when you're 18 or 21 or whatever.
Yeah. What is college anyway? Like,
an excuse to smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
On a college kid's budget? Come on, not every day.
That's why you smoke other people's weed.
There you go.
You network, Jack. This is where networking comes in.
I cannot network.
My first time getting high was on first time. I can't remember, but it was one of the times. I was 19 and I smoked a spliff, and since it was a upper and a downer at the same time, because a spliff is basically it has tobacco.
Yeah.
I was going crazy. Like, I was I talked to this guy, and he was so cute, but you could tell he was like a douche.
Yeah.
Like definitely. Like, have you guys seen Heathers?
Yeah.
JD. He looked like JD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Like a mix of JD and Donnie Darko a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. At the time, he reminded me more of Donnie Darko, so I wanted to pay him that compliment. And we were like kind of hanging on each other. Like, we were just like we were definitely like flirting.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You look like Donnie DeVito."
Oh.
And at that point, he was like, "It was nice meeting you, but you're crazy." Because at the moment, like, he didn't hear the Donnie part. He just heard the DeVito part.
And then his brain filled in. She said something that sounded like Donnie or Danny, so I assume she said Danny. She said I look like Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I mix up actors' names like that all the time. Jack knows.
And
I do it with Kurt Russell and Russell Crowe.
Dude, that's like the worst mix-up ever, because if you call somebody Danny DeVito, that is no compliment.
That's an insult. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though Danny DeVito's a good actor.
Unless you're talking about like their personality and their essence, then it's a great compliment.
No, he
I love
has a
Danny
great
DeVito.
essence, but it's like this guy was like straight up like JD without the sociopathy.
Yeah.
And and I was like 19 and like a freaking I never did anything until I was 21. So I was so naive. And this guy just like straight up cut me loose because I said the wrong name. So sad. Yeah.
When I die, just throw me in the trash.
Oh my god, that's what I was thinking. I was like, just throw me in the trash. Rumham. Oh
I'm sorry, Rumham. I'm sorry. Always. Are you guys all caught up on Always Sunny?
No, because they took it off of Netflix. Yep.
Yeah.
They moved it to Hulu, I think.
Did you
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah. Did you see? Are you at least up to the season where Mac was just spontaneously really fat?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I got to the season where also he became skinny again.
Yeah. Yeah. I gained and lost 60 pounds in 3 months. That's borderline impossible. First of all, through God, all things are possible, so jot that down. But yeah, like I remember hearing about that when it first happened, and like he was in interviews. He was like, yeah, no, this wasn't an accident. I did this intentionally for the show. I thought it would be really funny if everybody got fat. And then everybody else said no. So I was like, all right, what if Mac just gets really fat? And then he did a regimen to put on a lot of weight.
Oh my god.
for
And
the
then
show.
he lost
And
it
then
so
he,
quick.
And then he went through the effort to lose all of it between seasons. And now this season, I was watching like promos for it and stuff, and Mac is ripped.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think one of the worst things the gang does is they ruin Rickety Cricket's life.
Oh, over and over again. But yeah, like
oh
it's-
my
she's
god,
like, after
yeah.
all
So
these,
bad for Cricket.
After
Yeah,
all
me
these
too.
years, after all these years of being like a fake gym rat and talking about how jacked he is, even though he can't do like a push-up, suddenly Mac is actually ripped and he's huge.
He's like, I didn't do this on purpose, guys. It just happened.
I started with the losing the weight, and then I just couldn't stop, and I fell into this, and now I'm huge.
Oh my god. Yeah, I am so not caught up on that show. I need to be. The thing is with that show is like coming from somebody who is like, I don't know. I think this is a girl thing, but I get so invested, and I honestly like feel like these people are real.
Yeah, I do that. I do that too.
Yeah, and like I get so like emotional whenever they fuck up someone's life that I have to like take a break and like for a couple of days after watching like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, that I do have that with like with Black Mirror and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, dude, I can't watch Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Black Mirror, it's got to be like one episode every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Try like 2 months.
Yeah.
I take a break. But yeah, like it's Curb Your Enthusiasm too, just because of like the pulling teeth levels of awkwardness and secondhand embarrassment. I just like can watch one episode and then I have to sit back for a couple months and just leave it.
I'm different with Curb Your Enthusiasm. I can marathon it because
It's just
I get it so much.
It's just too uncomfortable.
I mean, I know some people that can watch The Office several times, and that show is so awkward.
Yeah, especially like the first like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
When it's all just look at how cringy Michael is.
Yeah, Michael, honestly though, like he becomes so redeemable towards the end.
Yeah, you see more
when he buys Pam's art.
Yeah.
Stop.
When you understand that all of his cringy try-hardness is just him desperately needing to be liked,
Yeah.
you start to feel a little bit bad for him. Still a lot of the things he did, not okay, but like you understand him more. And then he starts being less horrible.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, in the British show, he's just an ass.
Oh, yeah.
Jim is actually worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've talked about this before on the show, but fuck Jim Halpert.
What?
He like gaslights Dwight numerous times.
Okay, your coworker is a little weird. That does not give you an excuse to pick on him to the point where he doubts reality.
Yeah, but don't they become like frenemies or something?
Yeah, but like all the
My God, you're ruining Jim for me. Stop.
Just Jim messing with Dwight, like all those classic pranks. That was him harassing his coworker.
I know.
Yeah, like I kind of like the episode where they have like the interim boss in, and the interim boss like hates Jim and like questions why he actually does there.
He can't get away with anything because it's somebody who his John Krasinski charm does not work.
Yeah, but then he becomes nicer towards the end.
Towards the end, yeah, but in general, just kind of fuck Jim. Roy was worse. Roy was ostensibly
He was
worse.
definitely worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pam's better off with Jim, of course.
Here's
but-
a little bit of bad news, and him and his brother just completely demolish a bar out of anger. So she's like, yeah, you dodged a bullet there, Pam. Good,
Okay,
good
but
job.
isn't Pam worse because she was totally complicit in these pranks, but she was like
True.
BFFs with Dwight.
Yeah, she kind of stabbed him in the back a lot. Just
Yeah.
like totally was a friend to him. face to face, and then just like
So sad.
when Jim would glance at her, she'd just be like, "Oh,
I'm just
we're
like
gonna get him."
slowly watching this thing like collapse. I'm the mic in front of me because like people can't see me. Obviously, it like slowly drifts.
Yeah, I think it's
Lower and
because of how
lower.
far I extended the arm out. Like another recent episode, it was closer to the edge of the table, and so I wasn't talking into it really.
It's just slowly sinking down like Venice.
Yeah, it's like very noticeable. 'Cause,
Eventually,
like, it
I'll
was,
get like those radio boom stands that like the professional podcasts have.
yeah, because I'm like slouching and it was like above my eye level at one point, and then I look up and it's like at my nose level. Hello.
Logical answer, you're getting taller.
I'm getting taller, everyone. I'm growing up.
It finally happened. I didn't know. They said it never would.
I know.
But
I'm
look
old.
at me now, Ma. I'm 40 feet tall.
I had my 26-year-old growth spurt. Oh, God. 26-year-old growth spurt equals no health care.
Why couldn't it have happened when I was 25?
I know. Fuck, right?
I'm looking forward to 25 in November, so I can rent a car without the exorbitant fees of being under 25.
Okay, but when do you ever need to rent a car?
Well, I
You
have
never
travel
know.
plans that I've been putting off because of this.
Oh,
Actually.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Yeah,
I
renting.
wouldn't want to like fly to a city and then be reliant on like public transportation and
That's
Uber
because
I want to drive all over the place and see different stuff in the areas
Yeah.
that I go to.
I'm a crazy person, so I went to Seattle to see a band I really liked in like October of 2016 or something, and I was not 25 yet. I think I was still 23 or something, and online it was all chill. Like I rented the car. They took my money. And then
Yeah,
I-
they'll take you if you're 21.
They
just charge you
bravely
a hell of
took
a
your
lot
money.
more.
Yeah, but they ended up being like, oh, yeah, we need $150 for like a security deposit or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's all the money I have for this trip, so no. So I ended up in Burien, Washington, which is it's like actually closer to Tacoma than Tacoma, sorry, not Tacoma, than Seattle.
North Tacoma.
So could you imagine how much that lift cost?
Oh my god.
Yeah, basically the money that I took back from the rental car covered all of the lifts and everything. I took the bus like once or twice, but I could not.
Yeah, I've noticed like from trips that we've had with family, flying in and then getting a rental car is a lot smoother.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, it is. I rented a car in Oregon, and my friend's aunt was the one who actually rented it, and I was driving it illegally, and I almost got pulled over in Washington when the car was rented in Oregon. So I took it across state lines illegally because I was not supposed to drive it.
Yeah.
Because I was 22 and or 23, I don't remember.
But you weren't on like the rental agreement, so
No, I was not. And so basically, I this car was behind me. This like cop was like flashing his lights at me, and I went to pull over, and he stopped behind me and then went around me.
Uh,
I was like, thank God.
we're back from a non-disclosed type of break.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a smoking break because all three of we love to smoke.
We just go through cartons and cartons.
Oh yeah.
Yes, totally.
Right.
That would definitely help my career.
Can't you tell by our gravelly voices?
Yeah.
So many musicians smoke.
Oh my God. It bugs me.
I've been offered like so many cigarettes, and I always politely turn them down.
Yeah. You know what the crazy thing I learned was? Tom Waits has never smoked a cigarette. They're all props. He's a fake. He does not smoke cigarettes.
Who?
Tom Waits.
Gravelly voice.
Really?
No, I'm fucking kidding.
I don't know who this man is.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, we could have done a 3-part anyway, but Ian was late. He missed his cue.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
That was good.
Yeah, that was great.
We'll splice it together.
That
Just make me look like as big of an asshole as possible. I love it.
I just wish I know like it's a really stressful job because sometimes you'll go months without a job and you'll have to like live off of and stretch out the money you've made or like get a side job.
Like working musician?
Yeah, working musicians. It bugs me when they have like vices like smoking cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah, because that's like taking all their income that they could spend on like food.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's just like smoking slowly kills you. I mean,
Yeah.
so does life, but
I mean, yeah. Cigarettes, they're basically life.
or like when Demi Lovato had that overdose. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm just gonna say she OD'd on something. I was just like, girl, you have so much resources in your life. Like you could own a puppy or something instead of doing that. Like puppies are like heroin, man. They raise your endorphins.
I guess that thing that happens with a certain level of fame is like you realize you can have everything. So like, what else is there to strive for? And that's where it gets depressing.
Yeah.
Like with cases like Philip Seymour Hoffman or like other actors that have like OD'd or like.
Well, what's his name? Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fentanyl, right?
Yeah. Sorry, man. What about Anthony Bourdain? Like, I know it wasn't an OD, but like,
Yeah.
examples like that.
I didn't confirm it. People were thinking it was suicide, right?
No,
Yeah,
it was
that's-
suicide.
that's
It
what I
was?
heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a history with drug abuse, but it was a suicide.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
he's been clean for
yeah,
a while.
he'd been clean for years, I think. So yeah,
Yeah. Poor guy. He was such a cool dude too, Anthony. I wonder, like, I used to watch the show he was on, The Taste.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his people won, Gabe something. I wonder where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
If he's mourning the loss of his friend.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, you gave me my
almost
start.
Everybody loved Anthony Bourdain.
So many people.
So many of us like grew up watching all those like travel cooking shows.
Yeah.
Like, well, so I'm vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say this, but like I don't agree with most of what vegans say.
Mm-hmm.
And when Anthony Bourdain passed away, people were like, some vegans were like, well, good riddance.
Fucking
What?
really? For what?
Because he ate meat or like
Whoa.
yeah.
That's a bit of a leap.
Like meat is part of the culture in so many countries. When somebody offers you a meal with meat, you're gonna eat it. You know.
Yeah, no, it's but at the same time it's just like this person's career was like based off of cooking, and a lot of what cooking is protein, adding meat to it. Like not everybody's going to look at a meal with protein like beans, rice, or like mushrooms even and be like, "Oh, there's protein on that." You know?
Yeah.
Like part of it is cooking meat.
Yeah, and like so much of what he did was like, you know, going to other countries, exploring other cultures, and just like taking in what their food was. And it would be kind of disingenuous and shitty to just go in and say like, look at a dish that they're making that has a traditional dish from their culture that they're making that has meat, and just saying like, no, I'm gonna fix this. Like that's so disingenuous and gross and has a colonialist mindset. It's just,
Yeah.
So just eating meat in that context, I don't see how it's a problem. But I guess he deserved to die because he ate meat.
Well, yeah, I mean, like in America, like or America, Canada, like places where there's access to a lot of different kinds of food, and like there's a different food culture of like try everything, like that sort of thing. Where like you have options. You can live like a vegetarian, vegan lifestyle and be totally normal, but that's just not the case in most places. You're gonna eat what's on the table. You're gonna eat where you're gonna eat. Humans are not meant to be like vegetarians. We are omnivores by nature.
There have been like some like vegan not by choice cultures like Nepal. Like it's hard to afford livestock, and people like kind of end up being vegan. They would want a steak if you offered it to them, but like they have problems with rickets that kids develop. because they're not getting like the right nutrients, like the right amount of vitamin D or B12.
That's the thing. It's like we have the choice because we have access to all of these things like B12 supplements, D supplements. We know how to get the adequate amount of everything without.
And a lot of our
having
foods
to-
are fortified too.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of whole grains.
Yeah, whole grains are fortified in what, like iron, B6, folate.
Whole panel.
Yeah, the whole panel. It like that was actually an act I learned in my contemporary nutrition class. It was the Grain Fortification Act. That's
Yeah.
literally what it was called. That was because like children were just not getting enough nutrients because they weren't able to like eat meat or like drink a lot of dairy yet because they were just still developing, you know. Or eating eggs too. Like some kids just really don't like eggs, and so giving them carbs isn't enough, but if that's all they'll eat, of course.
Right.
And that's when they decided to fortify grains. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nutrition is a really cool subject. If you ever want to study that, I would suggest doing it. I just don't feel like enough people know about the health sciences.
Yeah.
I took a nutrition class at Mesa. I got a D. The professor hated me after I like announced I was celiac when somebody was talking about like gluten-free diet with some like
She hated
athlete.
you for that?
Yeah, she was saying, well, this isn't for everybody. Not everybody should remove gluten. It's very few people. There's no like scientific evidence it's healthy. Like all sorts of stuff like that throughout the semester, looking at me whenever like wheat came up and all that. So I think I got a lower grade than I should. Like I should have gotten a C. Yeah.
What a bitch.
Yeesh.
Oh my gosh. What was her name?
I forget. Like baby boomer white lady, pretty much.
Her name was Baby Boomer Von White Lady.
So I
Professor
I
Baby
really
Boomer
liked
Von
my
White Lady.
nutrition professor at Mesa, but there was one time where she was talking about some vitamin. It was like one of the vitamins you don't really think too much about because it's in like everything.
Yeah.
But apparently there was a Native American tribe that was unable to get this vitamin for some reason, and they got sick and died. But the way she described it was like they couldn't have this, and they got sick and died because they couldn't have it.
Isn't that awesome?
And I looked over at my table partner, and I was like, "What the fuck?" She just laughed about that. Holy shit!
Jesus.
Yeah, it was like a beginning nutrition class, so you heard about a lot of like the vitamins and how like
Get these
like
or you
you
die.
can get rickets and stuff, or kwashiorkor, which a lot of kids can get if they don't have protein.
Yeah.
And
what
yeah.
what was sad was there were like I think 2 or 3 anorexic girls in the class where all their questions would be like, okay, so this helps me lose weight, this helps me lose weight, this helps me lose weight.
Oh, that's sad.
And they were like twig skinny, and like I would guess like they didn't picture themselves as that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I was a camp counselor, I had an anorexic kid she was like the center of the popular kids social group. Like everybody, all the cool older kids orbited around her.
Yeah.
And then they would all enable her eating disorder. Like I remember I was sitting at the table with them one night. You know, somebody has to be sitting at every one of the tables, and like this one girl, like we're having like brown rice and like meats and carrots and stuff like that, and she does not put anything on her plate. And so we're all just trying to figure out a way to like very, non-confrontationally just try to get her to put food on her plate. And the director of the camp, God bless him, amazing man, he just like casually gets her to put a little scoop of brown rice on her plate, and then she picks at it for about 5 minutes, eats like 2 bites, and then her friends start like sprinkling other food onto her plate to make it look like she's been eating more. And I'm sitting right next to them, and they know I'm watching. They just don't give a shit, I guess. And like, yeah, she just would not eat by the halfway point of the second week. There were just like dark circles under her eyes, and she was falling asleep all the time. And it was hard to watch. It was upsetting. And we really, there's only really so much you can do about it when you're just a camp counselor.
Yeah, because you can't like force them to eat.
Yeah, of course not. That would be like way over the line. So
Yeah.
and like we have limited resources in terms of like getting her help for that. So it could only really just be like somebody in charge passing along our concerns to her parents when they come and pick her up. But she was also bullying one of the heavier kids in the group, who was like, one of the little pilot fish that followed along in her wake, and she would just make fun of her for being fat. And so like just kind of it was just a cycle of eating disorder bullshit that was just making everyone miserable.
Yeah, because fat kids also have eating disorders. Like,
Yep.
it's, yeah. The only ones that get recognized, though, are anorexia and, like, bulimia and stuff. And that's what's really sad, because, like, fat kids probably can't really control themselves either. I mean, well, actually, probably, no, definitely cannot control themselves. Like, the second they're given, like, any sort of sugar, they just go insane and, like, go ham on it. Yeah, it's not okay, like, to bully anybody for their size, whether it's skinny, big, anything like that.
Yeah, we were all just worried about the girl who wouldn't eat, and then when the other girl that she was picking on for being heavy stopped eating too, we were just like, oh, fuck, come on,
Yeah.
don't. It was just this heartbreaking cycle of horrible shit, and like all the other teenagers in the group like joined in on it and like supported anorexia girl in not eating and covering her tracks, and then also joined in on picking on this girl. But she was so desperate for, you know, validation and being part of a group that she would just stay even though they were treating her that way. It was just sad as shit.
Yeah, like, it took me a while to be able to eat in front of people in middle school, because that's when, like, I first started getting recognized for being fat and, like, actually affecting my psyche. And so, like, in 8th grade, I just wouldn't eat at lunch. And I would, like, walk around instead. Or, like, I would have my friend buy me food, and I would hide while I ate it. Yeah, really sad stuff. Yeah, that really messes with people.
Yeah, it's really kind of pot calling the kettle black when I'm talking about this girl from camp, because I kind of did the same thing. Like, my friends, you know, in middle school, and especially not in high school, they weren't like bullies for the most part, with, you know, me being fat, but like people, like friends of friends and stuff like that would be shitty to me. And my survival tactic was just to be the funny fat kid and like be in on the joke, because like it's really a fucked up thing. You really learn to treat yourself really poorly when your survival tactic growing up becomes, oh yeah, you guys hate me, I hate me too, so we're friends, right?
Yeah, I was definitely the opposite. Like, I would if people were mean to me, I would like find somebody else to be mean to. Yeah, like, it was like a cycle. Yeah,
I just always figured that if it was already coming down on me, then I could either just be crushed by it or own it and then crush myself too, so that everybody thought I was in on the joke, which just meant that I kind of tortured myself for years so that I wouldn't be alone.
With like,
this is a fun episode.
Yeah. I was bullied too, as Jack knows. I guess my response was just to sort of like take it and be quiet and like not show how it was affecting me.
Yeah.
And like I try to like be more open with people, like when something like upsets me or hurts my feelings now.
Yeah. I pretended that all of the abuse was fun, and that I was not only taking it, but that I was part of it.
Yeah, you tried to be in on the jokes. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I still do that to myself even when people aren't making fun of me or hurting me like that. So I've mastered the art of hurting myself for other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stop.
Well, it's crazy because, like, you don't really think about it, but, like, when people are mean to you, that's also part of their survival tactic, too. Like,
yeah, it's all,
so people don't pick on them. So, like, they're outward about that.
Everybody's
so they're not the one at the expense. Yeah.
Like, everybody's misery is just going around in one big feedback loop.
Yeah. Like, there was this girl in middle school who was, like, we were really nice to each other. She was so nice to me. And then, like, the second she became friends with, like, the people that were obviously the opposite of that, she was the meanest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like she went overboard to kind of like compensate for the fact that she didn't want to like be.
Yeah, she had to try too hard to earn her keep, or else she was gonna be in that position.
Yeah.
That was her mindset.
But I mean, when I was like 13, 14, I was very cognizant of that, and I was like, oh, you're just trying to be part of the flock.
Remember the episode of 30 Rock where Liz Lemon thinks she was bullied relentlessly in high school, and then she's the bully actually?
Yeah,
really?
it turned. Yeah, it's like she has a flashback where it's like all the girls are picking on her for like looking at a telescope, and she has super thick glasses, and then it cuts back, and like she has like some kind of witty one-liner to snap back to them, but she says it under her breath, and then it cuts back and it shows like their version of the flashback, and it's like They're just like, hey, Liz, are you looking at your telescope? How's your mom's drinking problem? Then she starts crying. It's just like, wow, you were actually horrible. And like everybody is just like traumatized. Like, how dare she show up at the reunion? Like everybody's just like crying and holding each other. It's like, you've done enough.
Oh my God.
It's just like, no, I was the nerd who you all picked on. It's just like, wow, you really do convince yourself that you were the good guy or that you were the victim, and it turns out you were.
Well, you know, it actually kind of sucked because in high school, like I really sucked. I was not a good person. Yeah,
we were all sewer mutants.
But in middle school, like I was bullied, and it wasn't my fault. But in high school, it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Like I would make it up in my head that people were bullying me, and then they ended up bullying me. Yeah. And so I switched schools and and started a new life.
I got called faggot like every day for freshman and sophomore year by 2 different guys.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
See,
I was like
hurts.
nerdy, weird kid, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I was fat, so that got most of the attention, but I got some of that too, and just like weird, and I mean, you know, no reflection on like, you know, whether or not, but they called me, you know, like retarded and autistic and stuff like that because I would just say, you know, just be awkward for a minute and then that would hang over my head for the rest of the year. And like,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, why did I say that 8 months ago?
Why was I standing in that exact place existing as myself? I should not have been there. I will live with this until I die. And then you graduate and it doesn't matter.
It so doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
At all.
If I could give one message of support to any kid who's going through a hard time in middle school or high school, it doesn't matter. That thing you're beating yourself up over, it doesn't matter.
yeah, and like if you happen to be like a nerd or like you're like a comedian that's like not accepted in your school, things are probably going to change for you as an adult if you work at it.
Yeah.
And like all the jocks are gonna end up being cops and hating their lives.
And even if those things don't happen, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter either.
It's high school. None of it matters.
No.
Not a thing.
Yeah, because everybody kind of ends up in the same place. Like either you end up like having kids or being like a single parent or live with your parents or just
3.
live a life.
And going to community college is okay if you don't get to university.
Dude, it saves you so much money and it saves you so much time too. Yep. Like giving yourself 4 years to go get a degree that you probably don't actually want / don't want to use.
And so many people drop out too.
Oh my God.
I'm glad that I dropped out for way less money than I could have. I could have gotten in debt and dropped out, but I just dropped out.
Yep.
Saved a lot of money. Not a lot of time, but a lot of money.
Yeah. College is important if it is important to you, but if you're just going because you think it's the right thing, then it's probably not for you.
A lot of trades pay pretty well too, and we're gonna have like less people to fill those roles.
I know. Well, like Michaela did trade school.
Yeah.
So
But,
she's good.
For the last 30 years, it's been talking up and up and up. Oh yeah, if you want to go anywhere in the world and make any amount of money, then you need to go to college. And nobody in like your high school counselor, your teachers, none of them would even mention trade schools or community college, and if they did, it was as a joke.
Or apprenticeships.
Yeah, and if they did, it was as mockery. It's like, oh yeah, if you don't shave up, you're gonna go to community college or a trade school. It's like, no, those are important. Trade schools are fucking important.
I met with a counselor, like a mental health counselor at State because they have those there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, honestly, the best education was at community college for her.
Mm-hmm.
So don't knock it. I was of that mentality too. I'm like, I don't want to go to community college. That sucks. And my mom was like, what the hell is wrong with you?
When I was thinking like community college wasn't going anywhere, I was looking at getting a soldering certification for like electrical assembly. It would have been like $900, and then I could like pretty much soon after go get a good job. The thing is, in San Diego, most of those jobs are for making weapons and other military equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, so no thank you.
So no
thanks.
thank you.
Yeah.
No thanks.
And my hands are shaky anyway, so I would have been a bad solderer too.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's questioning this on the podcast, we are not anti-Second Amendment. Amendments were written to be vague, so eat that. Anyway. Yeah. So the tortoise in your backyard.
Timmy sleeping under the motorhome right now.
Timmy the baby.
Let's find a downer angle to talk about the tortoise.
Like a depressing thing.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a downer episode. We've talked about some dark subjects, so let's just find a way to make this wonderful tortoise dark.
He sleeps 18 hours a day.
He's sleeping his entire life away.
His entire existence is a dream, an existential.
He can't really hear, so like if you played music, he wouldn't appreciate it.
Oh my God, this tortoiseless life is
he
tragic.
can only hear deep tones, so you have to talk in a deep voice if you want a tortoise to hear.
So
you.
just have him play Miles Davis.
Or just like SoundCloud rap, so you can hear the 808s.
Ooh. Or show him the Laurel.
Yeah,
Laurel. Yanny.
Laurel.
I double checked that one for myself. I heard it each way, like depending on whether I played it through speakers or headphones.
See, I heard Laurel, but then I heard over the Laurel.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, maybe I heard both.
Yeah, like there's a good argument that you could hear either in there.
Yeah, it's just the frequency of the sound waves over the electric whatever speaker.
The harmonics or
the
whatever.
harmonics, yeah. It doesn't matter. Like high school, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Life doesn't matter. Drink La Croix.
Nihilist La Croix.
Pamplemousse.
It doesn't matter how we pronounce it. They're just random noises that escape from our monkey faces. Nothing means anything.
We do have monkey faces.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just all wrap this up and share a LaCroix.
Cheers.
Cheers. I've never seen anybody. I've seldom seen people clink with aluminum cans.
Or toast an algae
Obviously,
bottle.
you haven't been to a college party in a while.
Not in a while, no.
No,
And
those
there were bottles. There were a lot of bottles and a couple cans.
like the last college party I went to. I was just like,
And solo cups.
breaking the law, breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
Nah, that law's stupid, but whatever. I think there should be no laws. It should be anarchy.
Yep. But leave in the part where we go breaking the law, just completely out of context.
Yeah.
I'll just go straight to that.
It now has zero context.
Although I do want you to keep in the part of us talking shit about the nutrition professor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep that in.
Yeah.
We'll keep the majority of this.
She
at,
knows
like,
who she is.
99%.
She listens to this podcast and she knows who she is.
She totally knows.
Yeah. Ian's nutrition professor from 5 years ago definitely
God.
listens to the podcast, and she's gonna stop now because we burned that bridge.
Wheat is important.
Yeah, she said everybody needs to eat wheat.
Every single human being, no exceptions. If you don't eat wheat, you die.
That makes me question so much because, like, if you like these professors are like, "Oh, you need dairy. You definitely need it." It's like, no, you don't.
You
But-
don't.
You can modify your diet in many different ways.
Yeah, it's like it's just like basically like sharing the standard American way of eating.
and
it's
wait,
like,
wait,
I
wait,
don't know about
wait.
that.
So, for a long time, nobody used milk from other animals. That was like as we began to domesticate animals, that was something that we actually took into consideration, was drinking their milk. So most of the time, you nurse and then you don't drink milk after that. Like if you're like an old ass agrarian farm like person. So how can you need milk if it's a thing that people lived without for centuries or millennia?
Yeah, like there's calcium in other foods.
Yeah.
Tofu.
I mean, you factually do not need it because humans went without it for a long ass time.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Stupid.
And all the time that humans went without bathing regularly.
Yeah. I mean, not recommended, but
It's possible.
You not that you should, but you can.
Well, I mean, like I'll bathe, like I'll take a shower, but then I'll realize I don't have time to wash my hair, so I just don't.
Yeah. You don't have to get it every time.
Yeah.
Just give it a rinse out.
Anyway, so
get
we're
all the
talking about
bugs out of it.
Sarah's filthy habits.
Oh, we're all filthy. We're all terrible.
Humans are gross.
I think we should end it on that note.
We're all gross. We're all terrible. Nothing matters. Have fun, guys. See you next
Drink
week.
LaCroix.
Goodbye. La Croix.
La Croix!